a campus, where will you go? You will be a blinded leader who is leading innocent souls, right? So thank you so much, Coach. And he talks about, goal setting. They need to be realistic. They need to be, smart. You need to focus. We are now living in a time where social media is distracting a lot of us, right? Spending much of our time watching dancing cares on social media, right? But if you can really focus, we can get there. So that was very powerful. We also talked about, execution. Robin Sharma says that ideation without execution is nothing but a delusion. So execution produces everything. So we want to thank you so much. And the issue of time management. For me, I believe that time management is the essence of life management. So that was powerful. If you can do that, I've got my own vision board. It is working. It's been working. And it will continue to work. So ladies and gentlemen, for those that I'm seeing joining us, do we have people that are joining us for the first time? All right. Thank you so much. Can you clap hands for them? This is the place where real leaders are made. So welcome to the ETE Talks, ma'am. So ETE Talks simply means engage, transform, and empower. So what we do here at CMF, particularly this department of the ETE Talks, we invite different speakers every Thursday, same time. So you can also bring other leaders to come here. Learning is for free. Thank you so very much. So without wasting much of our time, our main speaker for today, ladies and gentlemen, is an amazing lady. She's a brilliant woman, a friend, but I don't know where she's been hiding, right? Okay, so she's a certified life coach, an author, a philanthropist with an internationally recognized degree in psychology from the University of South Florida, United States of America. So she's focusing on combining health and wellness through bringing different wellness professionals together. She creates initiatives that aim to assist groups and individuals in reaching their greatest potential. So in short, she's just want to tap into your potential so that you can operate at what we call the personal best performance. Can you please give a round of applause for me as she's coming on the podium? Coach Tanatswa Matunja. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much. How's everyone today? How are we? On a scale of 1 to 10? 10. Okay, that's good. So I'm very interactive because I feel like I want you to also feel the words and so that I can be relatable, right? Firstly, thank you so much for that presentation on vision boards. It's so important because even what I'm going to talk about is going to tie in with vision boards as well, okay? So we're going to talk about purpose and we're going to talk about its connection to relationships and your well-being as a whole, right? So does everyone know what a purpose is? What is your purpose? Panonzi chiri mauri chaukanzi ufanire kuunza muZimbabwe kwauri kugara izvezvi naMwari. Why are you here? What is bringing you here? That is your purpose, right? But when I said purpose, did something ring in your mind? Purpose. Or if we're not sure, it's okay, so I can explain more. Does everyone know, with a show of hands, what is your purpose? What is purpose? Does everyone know what purpose is? I know. Anyone else? Okay, perfect. Would you want to just say what you believe purpose is?
Azara, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to do, which adds benefit and is profitable, not financially, maybe physically, maybe emotionally, to the community or the people around you.
Well done. Yes. Thank you so much. Anyone, one more person from the guys. A beautiful lady has spoken. Yes, please. What is your purpose?
So I would say, so I would say purpose is more like your mission on earth, why you were sent here by God.
Why you were sent here by God. I think one more person. Yes, sir?
For me, I think purpose is vision.
Your vision. Well done.
You need to translate that vision into reality.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you can repeat that. Yes?
For me, I think your purpose is your personal vision, and you need to translate that vision into reality.
Well done.
It might be about impacting humanity in entrepreneurial or in any social setup.
Yes, well done, well done. So in short, your purpose is why you're here. For those who believe in God like myself, it's why the Lord believed you were supposed to be here today, right? And we're going to tie that in with relationships and marriage. I'm going to just basically say a couple of statements here and there, and they'll make sense by the end of this whole session. So even when you get married, do you know that we are born for our purpose, not just for our marriage? That's why we marry for purpose. We marry someone who helps us deliver our purpose best. Do you know that being with the wrong partner can spoil the way that you deliver your purpose? My purpose, for instance, is to use my voice. If I get married to a partner who doesn't like women speaking in front of people, who doesn't care about counseling or mental health, I'll have to suffocate that. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you marry someone or you're partnered with someone who doesn't support your purpose, you will suffocate the reason you were brought into this world. And I always say, we are, I would say, in a world pot. And everyone's purpose is the flavor that they have within them that is going to get into that pot. So let's take this more in physical terms. Tukubika chicken yedu and tunakuisa to curry. We're going to put some salt. We're going to put some paprika. We're going to put some black pepper, my herbs, and so forth. So how we're going to take the world is just a pot with the chicken. Then I'm going to bring my purpose and add curry. She will bring her purpose and add salt. You will bring your purpose and add paprika. This person will bring their purpose. The pot is going to be flavorful. So the more that you actually release your purpose, the more that you allow people to experience your purpose, the more you change the flavor of the world. We are all here for something, all of us. And it's just a matter of discovering what it is that has brought you here and the real reason as to why you are here as a person. And that is influenced by many things. So I'm guessing you're thinking, so how do you discover your purpose? Because some people really haven't discovered their purpose. Some people get to their 60s, 70s and still are trying to figure out, what is my purpose? So the number one thing I'm going to say, reflection. It's only two things you need for you to discover your purpose, according to me. You need to reflect, number one. Number two, you need to find someone or something to believe in. Find someone or something to believe in. I believe in God. So I'm not coming here to impose that on anyone. That's my belief, right? So there's no way I'm able to discover my purpose if I don't know why I'm here. Who brought me here? Because if I have a deeper understanding of the person that brought me here, whatever it is that brought me here, then I can be able to connect with them and ask them, what am I supposed to be doing? You know, when I first went to the United States, I was studying business, marketing, right? And I thought, this is just the most perfect thing. You know, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. And yes, if I start doing marketing right now, you will say that's my field. But it's not my purpose. It's just something I'm good at, right? But my purpose is more so connecting with people, making people feel seen and heard, making people feel like, you know, they matter. That's my purpose, right? So I had to go through a level of deep introspection for me to realize that. I had to be within my own space without influence from people. If you're always surrounded by people, it's difficult to get your purpose because you have so many opinions from many people telling you who to be, how to act. You know, I was talking to a group of high school students the other day, and they were saying, but Miss Tanatswa, because they call me Miss Tanatswa, you know, why would you say that we shouldn't date and find our high school partner or our partner for life here in high school? And what I told them is that you're still being conditioned. You're still wearing a uniform. You don't even know if you like uniforms. You're still, you don't even know if you really enjoy being told to keep quiet. You know, you're still in a box. You're still figuring out who you are. You're still figuring out what you love, right? So that's basically why I say there's no way you can actually meet a partner who suits 100% your purpose majority of the time, even in high school. So taking it to us as adults, right? If you're always around people, like how I'm talking of this school setting, you're always wearing a uniform just like everyone else, you're always doing everything that everyone else is doing, you can easily take someone else's dreams and goals and start to believe they're yours. I believed I was supposed to study business and I was supposed to study marketing because of the people I was around. I never sat down and reflected and said, is this what I want to do? Yeah, you're a good marketer. And I believed it. Yes, and very true. I can be a good marketer. But I had to be by myself in solitude when I was in the States. And during COVID especially, God really was like, okay, so now I need you to reflect. You're now in a different country. You're living by yourself. You're earning your own money. You're doing everything by yourself. And there's a whole pandemic. You don't know if you're going to be able to see your family again. You don't know if you'll be able to see anyone again. You don't know if you're going to be able to live a life that's normal ever again, right? And then to make it worse, I caught COVID. And I was living in an apartment by myself. There was this huge apartment, and I was everyone had gone on holiday, but because I was international, obviously, I couldn't go anywhere. I was already elsewhere, right? Borders were closed. I was stuck with me and also finding out what or who I believe in. That's where I chose God, right? So I'm not saying you should specifically choose God. If you do, that's good. But for me, I chose God in that moment because there was nowhere else to go. So if you need to find your purpose and your calling, you need to be able to realize what is it that has brought you here and why are you here, right? The next thing I want to talk about is, I think we often also convince ourselves that we have found our purpose, and we think our passions are always our purpose. They're not. A passion changes. I love to sing. When I was young, I used to think I'm going to be a singer. Then there's a time I thought I was going to be a doctor. We don't base our purpose on our passions. But that's not necessary. And you should keep doing it if it gives you money, right? But make sure to give room to why you were meant to add flavor into this world. Remember, we're adding our own unique flavor into the world pot, right? Don't ever forget that. What is your purpose? It's something you can even do for free. Not because you don't want money. You should eventually monetize it. But you love it so much that it's natural for you. I think as young, when I was 12 years old, my brother was 18 at the time. And even though I was 12, he was 18, he would literally get advice from me. Way younger than him, but he would come and be like, okay, even take notes. I'd see him with a little, board, and he's writing down notes, and he's like, wow, thank you, Tani. That's what he calls me. I'm so grateful. So it started a long time ago. I just would suffocate it. So that's the thing. Our purpose is something that comes naturally to us, something that we don't need to fight to be. Sometimes we're in professions where we are fighting to be in that position. It's not necessarily our purpose, but if we can find a way to incorporate our purpose into even our career, or if we're not able to incorporate it in our career, still find a way to incorporate it in our lives, then we've done the right thing. We've already lived a fulfilling life. At the end of the day, you want to have a legacy, right? Do you not want to have a legacy by the time you're gone and we don't see you in this world? We all want a legacy, right? You want people to be able to say, this person, when Tanatswa was in a room, this is how she left the room feeling. What's your name, sir? Farai Mutunzi was in a room. Sean. When Sean was in a room, yes, ma'am. When Patience was in a room, this is how she made people feel. Some of you might see me again, some of you may never. Some of you may have seen me before, we don't know. But how I present myself today is what you're going to hold on to. Right? And even if you meet people who know me one day and you've only had this one encounter with me, you should be able to say, we were able to feel her purpose. We were able to feel her presence. That is what purpose is about. So I urge you as you go home today to reflect, what is it that I can do? What is it that I naturally do to people? Right? And it makes them feel something. It also allows me to feel free whilst doing it. Nothing makes me more free than speaking to people. Maybe I can get shy before, but once I'm on stage like this, I turn into someone else, but that's my story. I'm not saying everything I'm saying today applies to you too. I need you to reflect and realize what your story is. And another thing I want to talk about is, how people also mistaken their purpose for something they can choose to do. Oh no. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized that sometimes our purpose burdens and blesses us. We are burdened and blessed by our purpose. So sometimes our purpose feels like a burden, only because it's supposed to help so many people. So you're carrying a lot. When we even talk about, from the Christian side of things, as I said, I am Christian. Jesus Christ, he died for all our sins. He died a brutal, brutal death, right? Yet, when you see it, he saved people. He brought people back to life. The same man who brought people back to life still died for it, still was punished for it. So sometimes our purpose is heavy. Sometimes our purpose burdens us. But it's only because we're meant to help so many people. Right? So don't be scared when your purpose sometimes feels like a burden. I'm into philanthropy, I'm into life coaching, I'm into counseling. There are times where people can bring stories where I've never gone through that. But what assists me is me having that relationship with who I believe in. Remember what we talked about finding someone to believe in. So I can counsel maybe someone who's been divorced, or I can life coach somebody who's been divorced, not because I've been, but because when I'm speaking through the power that I believe in. So it's not even me who's speaking. That's the importance of finding someone or something to believe in. In moments where you may not be knowledgeable in something, he kind of steps in, or whatever it is you believe in, steps in and assists you in that moment, right? And then another thing I want to ask, has anybody, this is just with a show of hands, have you ever discovered your purpose and then maybe didn't use it to the best of your ability? Anyone else? Maybe you realized, like me, for example, I realized I'm a good speaker. I can talk to people, but I didn't want to go in front of crowds, even though I know I can do it. Even if you don't answer now, I want you to reflect. And remember, in that moment, you did everyone a disservice in terms of adding flavor to the world pot. Do you get what I mean? So I don't know whose life I'm supposed to change today. It could be one, it could be everyone, it could be, two, but I'm meant to add something to someone today. So I need you to also ask yourself, with my purpose, whenever I feel that need inside me and I say I'm not going to do it, I'm doing a disservice to the people around me. If you're naturally a helper, if you're naturally a giver, and you get that opportunity maybe to help, or you can find ways, sometimes even find ways to go and help. I started an organization, or rather group, where we help like children who, have been abandoned. Some parents can come and just dump their child by a door. And so that's what that organization basically stands for, Enlightened Foundation. Because I do know that part of my purpose is actually having a deep level of empathy. So I had to say, let me go and actually look for opportunities to use my purpose. I didn't say, when someone comes to me and says they need clothes, I'll just give them. So with your purpose, because it's so deep-rooted inside of you, you also need to look for opportunities that allow your purpose to shine. Don't be afraid to do that. Be able to say, I will seek opportunities to let my purpose shine, because it's bigger than me. Our purpose is always bigger than us. Okay? And then next, we're going to see how are we linking this marriage or relationships in general with our purpose. So I want you to, based on the statement I said earlier, to just reflect, even on the relationships you have. What relationships pull you towards your purpose, and what relationships take you away from your purpose? And it's time to evaluate and see which relationships really are worth it. Because these relationships that take you away from your purpose are assisting you in doing a disservice to the people that are meant to be impacted by you. I realized the power of doubt. I think I was listening to Robert Greene, and he says, do not underestimate the power of doubt. I could get in here and I could be so confident, and then my friend says, your hair, your dress, I don't know about your top. And then I'll come here, now I'm doing this. I can't stand still. some people don't allow us to really let our purpose shine. So I need you to evaluate which people are those in your life. Another thing, sometimes we come from homes or spaces that don't even support our purpose. So the question stands, what must I do in my environment? I can't control it, right? But they don't support what I bring to the table and what I know I'm good at. You fight for your purpose, that's number one. I fought for me to have my voice. Your purpose is something you fight for, that's number one. Number two, even if you don't have wise counsel from the people you immediately live with, try and gain it from other places. For example, what you did today is really good. You're coming to hear from other people who may sometimes not be family, because we don't all come from families that support our purpose or support where we are going. Books. What I love about this foundation, it really tells you the good books, the books to read. Sometimes a stranger impacts you forever. I think for me to have the mindset I have right now, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It assisted me a lot in the mindset that I have now. I've never met him. He's never met me. If you were to ask him, who's Tanatswa? He'd say, I don't know who that is. Right? But he changed my whole way of thinking. And if someone can change your way of thinking, they've changed your life. It's not only money that can be used to change people's lives. Sometimes just allowing people to have that mindset that says you can do better. Assist someone in changing their whole life completely. Being around people that see the highness in you. Quickly, when you're speaking to people, and when I have this gift, and I'm sure you have it too, it just requires you to focus. When you're speaking to someone, you can easily tell if they're speaking to the higher version of you or the lower version of you. Very quickly, with the way they speak, the way they say things. Someone once said, so naturally, I think also because of background, when I address people, I say sir, I say ma'am, and someone once said to me, Tanatswa, that really feels like I'm a boss. And someone else once said, you're making me feel like I'm such an old person, But the truth is, when I see people, I talk to the highest level of them, right? So it starts with how you speak to others, because once you do that, you also attract people who speak to the highest version of you. If you speak to the highest version of people, you also are able to find people that can speak to the highest level of you. If you speak to people who speak to the lower version of you, you will never progress. Or it will be difficult for you to progress. Like I gave that example. If I had a friend right now and she said, I don't know, your voice sounds like you've got a flu. Do you know that as much as I'm confident, I'm going to be aware of it? Already she's spoken to the lower version of me, and maybe I'm not going to deliver myself as much because I'm insecure about maybe the way my voice is sounding. Right? So our purpose is really linked with the people we associate with. I always say, you're not going to drink poison just because you're thirsty and that's the only liquid available, right? Are we ever going to do that? Never, right? That's the same with people. I'd rather be lonely than be surrounded by poisonous energy. Until I find my tribe. That's the mindset you should have. Until you find your tribe, you will not be drinking poison just because you're thirsty. And make it a mission. These places I go and speak, I meet like-minded people. Obviously, this organization supports life coaches. So naturally, if I was to meet someone here who's doing life coaching, I've already met people who are like-minded, right? So the places you go to affect your purpose. Don't just be seen everywhere with everyone doing everything, right? And someone once said, so how do I notice that these are my friends? There's just, once you know your purpose, there's a certain way that you conduct yourself and certain people that you associate yourself with. So for instance, I'm saying I'm a life coach. I'm all for health and wellness, right? And then naturally, I won't connect maybe with someone who doesn't care about their body, doesn't care about their language, doesn't care about, the way that they speak to people, kindness. I'm all for mental health. That's why I studied psychology. So if you see me with someone like that, you'll be confused. Because you'll be like, but she advocates for kindness, she advocates for wellness. What's going on? Right? So it's important that we say to ourselves, we will not be associated with places or people that bring out the lower version of us. The more we do that, unfortunately, we will not be able to reap the benefits of our purpose or even get opportunities. Do you know sometimes we'll be praying maybe for that financial freedom? That financial freedom requires you to unlock your purpose. Do you know that? It requires you to say, okay, what am I so good at that it's just going to make people want to be associated with me? Most of the opportunities I've had to speak, it's because people saw how I conducted myself. And this is not me saying everyone should conduct themselves the way I do. I'm saying have a signature presence that everybody knows this is how Tanatswa is when she walks in a room. This is what whoever it is, when Sean walks in a room, this is how he is, right? That's how it should be. When Farai walks into a room, when Patience walks into a room, this is the type of energy. She loves heels. I am very short, so that's already my signature. You will not see me speaking to people in slides. No, that's me, right? And I love to speak positivity. I love to talk to people. I love to help people really have that positive energy within them. That's my brand. That's who I am. But how did I get that? It's because I understood the depth of my purpose. So even today, as you reflect and you go home, say, what friendships, relationships, connections do I have that are taking me away from my purpose? Maybe they're discouraging me. Maybe they're putting me down. Maybe they're not helping me become the best version of myself. With relationships, what relationships am I in right now that don't need to be here? Or maybe some people are learning curves. What learning curves do I have in my life right now? Some people are meant to just, I believe we're all assignments to one another, right? Some people are meant to come into your life, teach you something, and then you're supposed to learn. You don't remain in grade 1 up until you're 70. You learn a lesson and then you move. So if you need to go home today and you're thinking of someone who I'm making you think of someone and be able to say, you know what? Yeah, this person just doesn't qualify with the version of myself I'm creating. It's time to do that. And by the way, I'm not saying kudadaga. I'm not saying I'm one of those people who, when I meet people, I look down upon them because they're not my... No, that's not what I'm saying. We are kind to everyone. But who we really allow close to us, or who we really allow within our space, and people we really allow to really understand the depth of our soul, those are people that you don't just allow in. They work almost for that, right? So even when you call someone a friend, or when you call someone a partner, that's a title people should really have worked for, right? We don't just walk around and we say, because the moment you also give someone a high title before they've earned it, they will disappoint you. And those are the people that, the more disappointments we have, you need to have a strong character for you to get back into your purpose. I remember I've had friends who were they weren't really motivating me, And when our friendship didn't work out, it's because I also called them a friend too early. I was like, what's the point? What's the point of speaking? What's the point of talking to people? So all these things affect us, our relationships, the places we allow ourselves to go. Some places you've outgrown, and it's okay. It's okay to say, yes, there was a season of my life where this made sense and I was here, but now I'm not there anymore. I still treat everyone with kindness, but I know my people. I know my friendships, right? And we should be able, I think the more you know your purpose, the less friendships you have, right? Because there's no way you can have several friends and be able to know your purpose. It's hard. Or rather, I would say it's impossible, but someone else would say it's hard. Because once you have so many friends, you get too many opinions. You won't even know who you are as a person. Even when you ask advice, okay, what do you guys think of this? This one is saying this, that one is saying that. You become so many people. But with who I call my most closest friend, if they were to come up here and speak to you, it should almost feel like you've spoken to me. Like you've seen a reflection of me in just another person. That's how we should be with the partner we choose even. Because when they come up here and they're talking in front and are talking like basically representing you, we should be able to see, okay, this is Tanatswa's partner, this is Farai's partner. The way that they just behave and act. So all I'm trying to say is our relationships, our friendships, all get affected with the way that we also view our purpose and its importance. And it is important because so please, your purpose is important. It's bringing energy into this world. We need it. I remember I was about to, a couple of days ago, I was actually having a conversation with a friend, and I said, the hardest part of this line of work I've chosen is that you can be going through a lot, depressed out of your mind, but if you have a session tomorrow, you need to say, guys, how are you? I'm so happy, but you're struggling. And then we saw how Nelson Mandela was in jail for 27 years. It's something I always knew, and we both knew, but we needed it that day. We were low. Things were not okay for us, right? And then we said, but 27 years just to deliver the purpose of bringing freedom to South Africa for the Black people. So that's what I'm saying. Our purpose can be a burden, but it's still necessary, because even though Nelson Mandela is not here anymore, the results of his hard work and struggle in that prison is still there in South Africa right now. Yes, of course, things are not perfect. Things can never be perfect, but there is significant change. Black people now own things, now drive cars, now do ABC, things that were unheard of. So right now, if you are feeling like your purpose is not really pulling you where you want to, you're not getting that financial freedom, think of someone who spent 27 years in jail just for the freedom of his people. 27. When I think of going to jail for 3 years or even a month or 5 days, I'm already crumbling. But 27, that's a whole lifetime for someone else. So with your purpose, don't stop fighting for it. Just like my voice, also convincing people that I'm changing from business to psychology. It's not easy, because especially in this country, a lot of us, we have the mindset it's better to do what has more money. It's better to, but when something is your purpose, it doesn't matter. The money will come. The money will come. You still deliver it. And you fight for it. I convinced everyone. Now everybody is saying, this was the best decision you could have made. The same people that were like, how could you do that? That's not where the money is. But now they're the ones saying there's nothing else that would have made sense for you. So I fought for my purpose. I fought for the reason I'm here. And I require you to all fight for the reason that you're here. Do we have any questions? Because speaking is my passion, guys. Any question? Do you feel like you have an understanding of what your purpose is? Yes.
Thank you so much, Tanatswa.
Thank you. Oh, thank God.
I'm a granny.
Uh-huh.
I'm 49 years, 10 15 November.
Wow.
What she was saying is like, she was talking to me.
Wow.
Me. I have this empathy. Kind of person. I like to talk to people.
Yes.
And I always dream. Like the vision of kids running after me. I was manifesting in the physical.
Wow.
When I'm around people, they just come, they just want to.
That's beautiful.
Love. So I've got this love. I love talking to people.
Wow.
So that's my purpose.
Wow.
Also, just to add on,
Jesus.
he showed me my purpose.
Yes.
So I have so many testimonies. So we are putting God also, just like what you're saying. It's not about everyone believing in God, but it's what I discovered through Him.
Yes.
Because even healing, I got healing through Jesus.
Yes.
I got sick. So I have a vision also that one day I'll open even an NGO, help disadvantaged kids, maybe even do counseling.
Yes.
This is my second time coming here was last week.
Wow.
So I want to join the classes.
Wow.
So I want to thank God for bringing me here.
Yes.
To find my purpose.
Wow. Anyone else? Thank you so much. Wow. I'm so happy when I hear someone say, I was speaking to them. And if you ever see a life coach, a counselor, a pastor, or anyone, don't hesitate to do what she did. Sometimes we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we ask, people, what was this said? And someone once came to me after I did a speaking engagement, and it was just me. It was a very quiet audience. But after the whole, I'm done speaking to everyone. I went and took my seat. Now it was time for people to speak. There was a whole line of people coming to say, you really spoke to me. And I was so confused, because sometimes you'll be thinking, did you even speak to anyone? Did anyone feel anything? So please, if you see a life coach, a counselor, a pastor, remind them, that they really did. Because sometimes we're not even speaking like just from ourselves. For me personally, because I have that relationship with God, I believe even the things I said today were coming from God. So sometimes I get out of myself and maybe God comes into me and he speaks. So I want to know, what did I, I remember I was even asking the people at the back, take videos so that I can see what was I saying. Because when I'm speaking, it's just me feeling like I'm a vessel, just letting it all out. But thank you so much. That made my evening so beautiful. Is anyone else, would anyone want to say a comment or contribution? Yes?
Okay. As for me, I have a question. In the journey of discovering your purpose, okay, thank you so much. Sir. In the journey of discovering your purpose, I understand that there is adversity
Take a video.
that may come along the way.
Sorry. We're
Okay.
going to start this one more time.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you so much, Coach. In the journey of discovering your purpose, along the way, there is adversity which comes along in discovering your purpose. So my question is that, in pursuit of your purpose, how do you handle adversity so that you cannot give up too early, or you can keep on going in discovering your purpose? How do you handle adversity when it comes to
Handling your purpose.
handling your purpose?
Thank you for that. That's so important. So when it comes to our purpose, it's the two things that I said still apply. When you, number one, fight for your purpose, you have to say, whether people agree or not, I'm going to continue to have that positive mindset that rubs on to people. I realized when I was convincing people, guys, this is what I love. I like psychology. And if I had stayed in the mood of, but psychology doesn't give money, and everyone is telling me that, let me leave psychology. And I also had that low self-esteem, people wouldn't have believed in me. But because I had that positive mindset, regardless of what people said, even when they would say, but it won't give money, then I said, do you know that the owner of Sunspan started a whole company based on my bananas, just selling bananas, and made a fortune from bananas? So no one can tell me that when God says he's put his hand on your life, things are not going to work out. So you need to be that positive. Even when people are putting you down, almost have that irritating positivity to a certain degree. Where you're like, even when they rather go and cry in your room, and maybe if you pray, you can show God that your self-esteem is being deteriorated. But in front of people, make sure that you are positive and you show them, this is what I believe in, regardless of anything. We go, we cry in our room, or we cry to our therapist, or we cry to the people that can receive our tears. So the older I've gotten, the more I've realized some people can receive your tears, others can't. The same way we see, if I get hurt if maybe I get cut, I can't go to an engineer. Yes, they're qualified, but that's not what their expertise is. They're not qualified to be able to help my wound. I go to a doctor. So even when I'm feeling that lack of confidence and I'm facing adversity from people, and people continuously are saying to me, you're not good at ABC, or it's not going to work out for you. These are the reasons things are not going to work out. I can say, okay, this person doesn't have the capacity to help me. Let me go and meet a life coach. Let me book a session. Invest in your well-being. If you need to come here, find a life coach here. There's that. You find someone who's going to motivate those passions, because not everyone can, not our family. So that's how we deal with the negativity. Number one, you find people that have the capacity to actually assist you in becoming more positive in your passion, be it reading a book, be it finding a counselor, be it finding a life coach, having a conversation with someone who is maybe wiser in that aspect. That's number one. Number two, you also need to find someone or something to believe in. They will give you the strength to really overcome that adversity. As much as we do our own works, I did this, but the person that also allows me to keep pushing even when things are not going too well is who I chose to believe in. So that's God. I hope that answers the question. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Good evening. How are you?
Right. Let's say you've met adversity.
I've made a?
Enemies, people don't want you to
Yes.
go on with it. You've made your very good vision board,
Yes.
and you know where you're going. But what if you are wrong? What if it's not exactly where you should be going, even though you believe it. Like, for example, you did business.
Yes.
Obviously, one time you told everyone you wanted to do business,
Business, yeah.
and they were convinced.
Yeah.
And they supported you. Then one day you're saying, no, psychology is the best.
Best,
So
yes.
what if we at that stage where we want to do business, but someone sees you as a psychologist and they're telling you, and they see the truth in that, but you are saying it's adversity.
Okay. So
And-
like
and
someone
you are-
keeps saying, you were supposed to do business. Is that what you're saying? Oh.
No. Someone is saying you should do psychology, but you want to do business, and you've convinced everyone else you want to do business. But later on, you then come back to psychology.
Psychology again.
Because the other problem that will be created is then we want to follow a path, a line
Okay.
that makes sense. We want a story that makes sense. I started this when I was 5. Now I am 30, I am 20, I am whatever. I have always wanted to do this. Right? We want that story to really make sense. But what if that story is not their story? Some people started at 65, KFC.
Exactly.
The story started at 65. What was he doing all along? It was the wrong stories. But some people were convinced he was doing the right thing.
That's true. So in
What if?
that makes a lot of sense. So that, the thing when we talk about purpose, it's almost like we circle back to the same things. Because I'm not sure with the belief system with the man who did KFC, maybe he did believe in God 100%. But whatever his purpose was, maybe even if he wasn't doing KFC before, there's still a way he was still delivering it. So my purpose, for example, is using my voice. I was once told, no, you should do singing, sing. And even through the songs I would sing for a very small group of people, they were to talk about life. They would talk about being strong. They'll talk about motivation. Now I'm doing it more in a life coaching setup, right? So I still used to use my purpose just in a different way. So maybe, like you said, the KFC guy, I don't know if his purpose maybe was really bringing the recipe to good food, good chicken, But however, I'm sure, I would need to have a deeper understanding of who he was before and what he did. And I'm sure even if you do that, you'll still find a link to his ultimate purpose. Like I said, even at 12 years old, my brother would come to me. I have other brothers who are closer to his age. One was actually 16, one was 17, but he would come to a 12-year-old, to ask for help. So I'd still do it, just not for money, just for, trying to just be there for people. I would still do it even before I did the degree, the psychology degree. It was just not for money. I was just doing it. So with our purpose, we can't hide from it. That's number one. Number two, you said, how do you deal with it when people keep saying that's who you're meant to be? That's where that self-reflection comes. If you're a reflective person, and you also need to work on not easily being swayed by people, right? Because if you're a reflective person, you don't easily let people change your mind. Because you go home and you reflect. So because I'm a reflective person and maybe someone comes into my life, I'm going to be thinking, my head will be on fire. Once you become a reflective person, it's almost impossible to be easily swayed by people. So if someone comes and says, no, you should be doing this, but you feel it deep inside you that, no, my purpose is psychology, not business, you will not be easily swayed. And naturally, even for you to get your purpose or be able to have a strong purpose, you should be able to say, I will not easily have my mind changed. That's who I am. But getting to that level, I didn't wake up like this. There's a lot of internal work I do. I think for me to show up this way, Maxeni ndinombo werenga Bible, then after that I have to go for a run, then after that I make sure that I read a part of a book, after that I listen to a podcast or a sermon, just for me to end up like this. And I do this daily. Because we believe our body, we feed our body, our mind, our soul every day of our lives. So you should ask yourself, which part of me is hungry right now? Just like how it's like, I always say, if you're a Christian, for example, and you believe in going to church, that's what this statement applies to. And you say, Sunday. My question to you is, are you able to say, I'm going to be hungry Monday, and then on Monday to Sunday, then on Sunday, I'm going to eat all the fast food I want. I'm going to go to KFC, chicken in, I'm going to eat everything. There's no way you can do that. There's no way you can say, I'm saving all my hunger for Sunday. and I'm going to only eat so much Muswe Sunday. That's the same way with saying I will only feed my mind, my body, and spirit once a month or twice a month. It goes on to, even if you do believe in God, reading your Bible or having that deeper relationship with God, it requires you to say, I'm feeding this part of my spirit every day, the same way I eat food. I can't say on Sunday, that is when I will eat 50 hamburgers and mapotesa kana 20 Muswe Sunday, but Monday Saturday I'm not going to eat. That's what a lot of us do. There's no way you'll get good results, even with your body. If you were to do that, your body is not going to be fine. You may actually get a lot of health issues. Number one, acids, So even if you start functioning like that, whereby you only feed your mind, your body, and soul once a year, once a month, you're going to unfortunately experience a lot of loss inside yourself. So these are all daily practices. I think another thing I want to stretch before I go is for you to also maintain your purpose. So I think I talked about a lot of things except maintenance of our purpose. So for me to maintain this version of myself, I have to make sure that I'm running in the morning or at least walking. I have to make sure I've read that book, like I said. I have to make sure I've done my prayers. Because if I don't, I start dealing with the lowest version of myself again. And once I'm dealing with the lowest version of myself, unfortunately, the low version of myself does not reach its full potential. The lowest version of myself is lazy. I get tired. I will put down on opportunities. If I get an opportunity, I'll say, ndakaneti. That's the low version of me. But the energetic version of me is, there's an opportunity. Or maybe there's no opportunity. Let me find an opportunity in that little hole that I can find it. Right? So make sure as an individual, you're also, once you've discovered your purpose, you remember to maintain it. Just like a garden, you're not going to just put your beautiful flowers there and then say, it's okay. My flowers, they're beautiful. They'll just be beautiful even if I don't water them. I can even come back after 30 years and this flower will look good. There's no way. So see your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit as gardens that require watering. Your mind can be a book. Your body, any form of exercise. Your soul, it can be music and so forth, right? Your spirit, if you believe in God or whatever you believe in. But I would like to thank you all for giving me your ears today. I hope that I'm so grateful that, I changed someone's perspective or at least gave them some sort of, energy within their thinking process. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, ICMF, for having me. All right.
Wow. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Can you please? All right. I want to thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
We were learning and we will continue to learn from you.
Wow.
You've been, you were just dropping nuggets. So yeah, purpose is very important. I think my questions, I don't know if there's still anyone in a gray area. You can. Okay.
Just to end on, I thank you so much for your So I think one of the things that can also help is, you see, like nowadays, as Coach was saying, we are too busy to be with our Creator. We are saying we spend 2 hours, I will do all these things. But one of the things that can help is if you can have quiet times. When you have quiet time, there are 2 things that will happen. Because I believe in the Holy Spirit, I'm a Christian. And when you have quiet times, it's either the Holy Spirit, you begin to talk to you begin to tell you things, you begin to show you, okay, walk this way, walk this way. And the second thing is, you might not hear his voice, but there's a ministry behind your back. Your life will never conform according to God's plan for you. You might not know it then, but it will be in the process. You look at Moses. Moses started at 80. What has he been doing all these 8 years? So he was going through a certain training. So these are the things that you also go. So we don't beat up ourselves. I don't know how people sound. So no, just give it time. But you have quiet times, 15, 20 minutes every day. God will begin to talk to you. We have an inner voice. Do do this, go this way. Even in business, do this one, don't do this, don't do this. Okay.
Wow, thank you so much, Coach. Yeah. So I also believe the same, and I do think that finding a purpose is not an event, but it is a process, and it encompasses a whole lot of things, including making as many mistakes as you can.
Yes.
And if you see many leaders, they have actually made mistakes. That's why they become these movers and shakers.
Yes.
So I also believe that. So Martin Luther King Jr. said that when a man has not yet found a mission to die for, then you are not fit to live. So you need to have this cause that is greater than oneself, because you cannot be selfish and become a leader. Of course, self-leadership is very important, but you also have to be someone who is after humanity. You are spreading this gospel, and then people. So the more that you help other people, definitely it will come back to you, and you'll see all these things that you wish for. So I think, thank you so much, Coach. And she talked about the what I call the only quality people. You need to get all the energy drainers out of your life if you wanna become successful. And also God. I'm also at a point in time where I've accepted that I'm destined for more than what I was believing, simply because of the Lord. And about the purpose, one of my leaders in this world of public speaking, Vusi from South Africa, Vusi Mbekwa, he says that, we are not here by accident.
Yes.
So this is the very existence of human beings, what it took for Earth to exist. The 16 kilometers between the surface of the Earth and the outer layer of the stratosphere that sustain all lives, all biodiversity as you know it, billions and billions of people that have inhabited the Earth. For me, I believe there is a grand plan. We can debate who the planner is, but I think you just need to choose. If it is God, then that's it. So Coach, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
My questions are going.
I also wanted to add an input. Let's say you have not yet discovered your purpose. I think one of the most important things is to be disciplined. Remain disciplined. Let's say you have not yet achieved or discovered your purpose. Remain disciplined. Because the scenario putting some people, they destroy them.
Oh, you can take it, yeah.
Some people, they destroy them with toxic relationship. One of those couple purpose, I just see like that energy to maintain the purpose. So I think one of also input is that if you have not yet discovered your purpose, remain be disciplined, whatever you do, be disciplined in your association, be disciplined in whatever you do, be disciplined until you discover your purpose.
Wow, thank you so much. A big round of applause for Coach for saying that. Yeah, discipline is very important. We also believe the same. And I think that motivation, though important, but I think it is just about 10% of the success formula. 90% is discipline, right? There have been all these talks about these guys who perform at IFBB Pro, those bodybuilders. They say that in average, a person, you just need to train for about 10 years for you to just be average. But are they doing that according to motivation? Sometimes they are even, eating boiled chicken without salt. But they say that we are not eating for us to, fill our stomachs, but we are eating according to the function. You get the sense? That's discipline. You are not motivated for it because sometimes motivation fades. So you just have to be disciplined to do it, no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets. You just have to know that you will make it through discipline. Nelson Mandela, 27 years of total incarceration. Thanks for that story. It inspires me, right? But on his inauguration as the president of South Africa, he actually invited those guys, the jailers, those guys that were putting him, out of those, toiling times, hard times. He invited them for dinner. And he actually made some of them to sit in the front chairs at this inauguration. And when he was asked, why did you do that? How did you treat them so positively? Those people that were making you, they wanted to take you away from your mighty mission. And this is what he said, and I will try to mimic him. It inspires me. And he says that, when I got out of the door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison.
Wow.
That was so powerful. So as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as history makers, I think we just have to have that mission that is bigger than ourselves. So thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege.
All right.
Ma'am.
Before you leave, can I just say 2 more statements? And for those who want to write it down, it's up to you. But I'm feeling it deeply that this is what I was meant to say at the beginning. These are just going to be 2 statements. The first one is, when it comes to your purpose, don't speak from a place of position. Our positions change. So make sure that you always leave room that if you change your mind in the way you view things today, you're not judged tomorrow because you've changed your mind. So right now, for instance, maybe I can say, oh, I hate this person, but in 6 years, I wake up and I say, no, but now I need to work with this person. And people get archives of those things, you know, and now they're saying, but you once said you're against black people. You once said you're against white people. So for you to maintain your purpose again, don't speak from a place of position. Right now, you may be there in life, but positions in life change. So always leave room to that. The last thing I want to talk about is our mistakes actually bring value to us, right? Because the more you actually make mistakes in life, the more you know better. Once you know better, you're more valuable. When people come to you and ask you questions, you're now bringing value to them. So even, yes, I was a good speaker. Yes, I would talk to people. I would counsel people without, you know, the qualifications. But when I went on to do psychology, that is what made me more valuable, right? So if you're making mistakes or so forth whilst you're getting to your purpose, like we said, it's not a one-day thing. Know that those mistakes are also creating value in you, and they're making you more knowledgeable, which is what is bringing that value. But other than that, thank you so much. I am done for real now. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Okay, so thank you so much, coaches, leaders. Every Thursday for free, same time. This is ever the one that you. So let's go. We take pictures. So please.